Hello team, welcome to another ATPGEO politics video with myself, Jonathan M.S. Pearce. This is a Ukraine war breaking news update concerning an operation that took place in the Black Sea on one of these gas rigs. There are a few of these in the Black Sea that are used for sort of comms equipment, electronic warfare, even air defense systems are put on them, because obviously they can cover quite a large area. It's flat sea and there are no obstacles, so you can have decent equipment put on here and used by either side. Depends how close to Crimea the platform is. Now, what appears to have happened, and I'm trying to work out exactly what's happened here, because initially I thought this was just, you know, an amazing Ukrainian operation using FPV drones flown off unmanned surface vehicles, so these Magura V5C drones, to destroy lots of Russian stuff. But actually, what appears to have happened is the Russian Spetsnaz did an operation onto one of these platforms that was, I believe, equipped with Ukrainian comms equipment and whatnot. So I'm seeing now some Russian claims that there was a Black Sea raid. The Russian Hispaniola Spetsnaz Naval Detachment allegedly struck a Ukrainian satellite comms hub used for Crimea attacks. Using Ovod FPV drones, the unit reportedly destroyed key guidance systems, disrupting Ukrainian operations. And you can see from afar, there's a gas rig that it cuts in a second. It is burning over there. There you go. So there's a couple of rigs, but the one, is there. It is. So two rigs near to each other. One has comms equipment and ended up burning like this. So we have this particular video has a little bit more on it. Let's go and have a look at that. Yeah, brilliant. So there looks to be gas burning off at this particular rig. And you can see an FPV drone flying in and hitting something over here. And I guess that was the Russians doing that. That's a pro-Russian source there. Now, after Russian special forces landed on an oil rig, so it doesn't look like it was, or at least the claim is the Russians were actually landed on there. They weren't just doing things by drones. After Russian special forces landed on the oil rig in the Black Sea, they were attacked by Ukrainian naval kamikaze drones. Okay, so it starts getting a little bit more complicated. Ukrainian forces used naval drones equipped with machine guns and FPV against Russian elite units that landed on platforms in the Black Sea. Russian military officials complain about new destructive actions against Russian key military infrastructure. Well, actually, I think this was the Russians attacking the Ukrainians first and the Ukrainians hitting back. Now, we have some images here. You've seen some of those on a video already. That it's interesting. Those flames do look really kind of CGI, but they, I think that's the way the gas, burns, to be honest. But we'll see. There you go. There's an image of the flames from sea level. And then we have some videos as well to look at. Now, yesterday in the Black Sea, says this source, Ukrainian naval drones, they're called BECs by the Russians, destroyed Katsapian special forces, unique specialists who landed on one of the gas rigs. The BECs shot the occupiers with heavy machine guns and finished them off with FPV drones. Okay, let's look at this footage first. So it doesn't really show you too much and it's quite short, but you can see that there are drones, sort of USVs, that is, unmanned surface drones, flying around the rig, or not flying, but being piloted around the rig. Here is one from the air, just a few seconds. To be honest, that could be anywhere, but this is supposedly footage of the Ukrainian drone operating around the rig. So there is that comes from Romanov. It's a Russian source. And then we have some claims that we're going to go through. They are kind of Google translated, so it is a bit garbled, but I'll read them to you anyway with that caveat in place. So the first one comes from two majors, and the second one from Romanov. So these are quite common Russian sources that I've dipped into over the years. So two majors says Black Sea, the divisions of the Black Sea Fleet and the Marine Detachment of the Spetsnaz Española are a modern format for maritime operations. Okay, the detachment's unmanned marine systems and the Pitbull Fire Group were put on combat duty in the interest of the defence of the Crimean Peninsula. During the exit, combat tasks were completed. We will report today. Budanov, we also know how to do PR operations with beautiful towers in the sea. Okay, so this seems to be indicating what we were hearing right at the beginning of this video, that well done, the Russian Spetsnaz have taken out some comms equipment of the Ukrainians in a successful operation. But then there's this addition from Romanov, who says, I will add to what was stated on the Informers channel. So that's another channel that would have said something like the two majors. As soon as our specialists land on a tower, and they land precisely specialists whose qualifications are unique, in other words, these are Marine Special Forces, the enemy immediately begins to destroy them like a bullet. From afar, they hit with large caliber machine guns. So that implies that those are machine guns on boats, possibly drone boats, USVs. It says brackets the GDU. So the GDU is the gas rig. The GDU is essentially a container and hides where everything is sewn. I don't really know what that means. And they also attack with BECs, with unmanned sea vehicles, with FPV drones. The footage shows one of these BECs of the armed forces of Ukraine near the GDU, near the platform, in the form of an FPV carrier. Under the black cover, there are 4 FPVs. So that's the video that I showed you of the drone. It said underneath that cover, there are 4 FPV drones. So that's the cover there. The launch principle is similar to how it was used on trucks. And he says that's the case when one has beautiful promotional shots and the other almost guaranteed death. So a bit garbled, not 100% sure what is being confirmed here, other than the Russians did an operation, might well have been successful, and then the Ukrainians hit them with unmanned sea vehicles, with machine guns and drones that may well have hit the Russians, destroyed the Russians like a bullet. So we could have a situation where both sides were successful here, to be honest. So the Russians are, though, worried. Here is another Russian quote. I'm not sure the provenance, but this is coming to us from Max25. Over the past 4 days, the enemy, the Ukrainians, has been very actively attacking the Black Sea Basin GDU. So that's a gas platform. Missiles, drones, unmanned vehicles, FPVs will try to land troops on the towers to organize a bridgehead for attacks on the west of Crimea. So that is to say the Ukrainians are going to, so the claim is here, the Ukrainians are going to try and land troops on these gas platforms to use them as a launch pad to Crimea. We've actually sort of talked about that before, and that being a potential. So it's a bridgehead for attacks on the west of Crimea and possible attempts to land troops on the Black Sea coast of Crimea. Okay, so there is certainly something's happened, and you know, you can go and look at some of these claims. There's not a huge amount of detail, and actually most of it is with the regurgitated stuff that I've already shown you, and just coming from different people. But essentially, something has happened on one of these gas platforms, and I presume that both sides have had some degree of success, and it could be that the special forces, the Russian special forces, were somewhat taken out after they landed on the platform, although there is footage of the Russians looking from afar at the platform, and maybe not on the platform. I don't know. So take these claims with all the usual caveats, all the pinches of salt, but something's happened on the gas platforms. It looks pretty interesting, and it shows you, I think, the importance of drones. All the way out there, drones are going to be easier to get to these gas platforms than having boats hanging around. You know, I presume you can have defensive USVs that can maybe go into standby mode. That's what I would hope would be the case. I don't know if that's doable, but you want them to go into kind of standby mode and then kick into action when the Russians get close, and then they act as defense rather than having people out there doing that. It's kind of the same principle as we're seeing on the front lines, where these drone lines, these defensive corridors, are being utilized by the Ukrainians in order to keep the manpower needed down. So you are substituting humans for drones. That could well be what's going on out here defensively for these rigs. Anyway, let me know what you think. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon.